Hello, I'm Laura Painter. You're watching an ABC 10 Plus recap of Wednesday's stories. Governor Gavin Newsom outlining a $12 billion deficit and how he plans to address it. Then, advocates for immigrants are fighting back against Newsom's proposed plan to freeze enrollment for state-funded health care for immigrants without legal status. The ABC 10 Plus recap starts right now. California is now facing a $12 billion deficit.
Governor Gavin Newsom made the announcement today as he revealed the revised state budget.
We have team coverage tonight on the governor's updated spending plan, including the possible impacts on immigrant health care.
But we do want to start with ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen, who was at the announcement today. And Jeannie, you're talking to people on both sides of this issue.
Chris and Laura, this morning the governor announced a $322 billion budget with a $12 billion deficit. And as you recall from his January budget proposal, he expected the state by now would be in a budget surplus. Tonight, Republican lawmakers say that the state has a spending problem and that this will not help the state in the long run.
We were off. We were significantly off.
On Wednesday, Governor Gavin Newsom admitted the state was wrong when he initially predicted back in January the state would have a $363 million surplus in the state budget. Newsom is now blaming the Trump administration's actions for the lack of incoming revenue, calling it a, quote, Trump slump.
We're going to see an impact about a $16 billion downturn, not all in the next fiscal year, but fiscal year plus one.
Governor Newsom says the state is now facing an $11.9 billion deficit with a $321.9 billion budget and $15.7 billion in reserves. The governor's office wants to do several things, including using billions from the state's rainy day fund and even negotiating state workers' pay.
The intent is really to avoid increased costs in the upcoming fiscal year, as not to implement furloughs or PLPs or those type of things.
The governor is also proposing changes to Medi-Cal.
$5 billion on a freeze on our Medi-Cal expansion. We're not cutting or rolling back those that are enrolled.
This would apply to those receiving Medi-Cal regardless of immigration status. The governor is proposing a $100 premium for undocumented immigrants, and the freeze would apply to new adult applicants older than 19.
We're just capping it, particularly for those without documentation.
In response, Republican lawmakers say the state cannot continue to provide Medi-Cal services to people without documentation.
We just simply can't afford it. And he's acknowledging that by this budget's adjustment. And in future budgets, I think we're going to see more.
Now, ABC 10 did ask the governor if there is room in the budget to put resources towards the voter-approved Prop 36. To hear his answer, that is coming up tonight on To The Point at 6:30. Live at the Capitol, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
Yeah, sounds good, Jeannie. Thank you. And again, this is just a proposed budget. The legislature will have to pass a balanced budget by June 15th.
And advocates for immigrants are fighting back against the governor's plan to freeze enrollment for state-funded health care for immigrants without legal status.
But there are lawmakers who say the program was flawed from the very start. ABC 10's Roxanne Elias explains both sides.
Immigrant advocates are outraged at Governor Gavin Newsom's newly proposed restrictions on the state's Medicaid program for undocumented Californians.
I was completely devastated to see this news, to see the state choosing to balance our budget on the backs of working people, hardworking immigrant communities.
Under Newsom's plan, low-income adults without legal status will no longer be eligible to apply for Medi-Cal, taking effect next year. Josh Stalick, the policy director for the California Immigrant Policy Center, says it feels as if the governor is abandoning a proud legacy of bringing California to a state of almost universal health care.
It will end up resulting in folks being unable to access health care that they vitally need, which means that they'll be living sicker, potentially missing work.
He says it could also lead to systemic problems affecting all Californians in terms of potentially overburdening emergency room systems and potentially leaving hospitals uncompensated for the care. Amanda McAllister-Wallner with Health Access California is also worried for the people who already have coverage and are 19 years and older. The governor has proposed they pay a $100 monthly premium.
People making under $15,000 a year, under $20,000 a year, where paying $100 a month just isn't possible.
Republican Senator Brian Jones says he warned the governor over a year and a half ago that the program was not sustainable.
What's happening now is the governor for the last 6 years has been making all of these promises of what he's going to do with Medi-Cal without really analyzing and paying attention to the outcomes.
In total, Newsom's office estimates the changes will save the state $5.4 billion. But Senator Jones says it's too little and too late to avoid the damage.
If you take a look at the cuts that we're going to need to make this year, that's legal residents and citizens that are paying their taxes that are now going to have some kind of service cut.
Roxana Elias, ABC 10.
Immigrant advocates are calling on lawmakers to oppose the cuts. They'll work with the governor's office to come to a final budget deal over the next month. And keep in mind, you can watch the governor's entire budget announcement on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. The app is free to download on your TV.
Time now for Dollars and Cents. These past few months have seen some huge swings in the stock market, causing many people to panic about their 401ks. But while reacting emotionally can lead to poor financial decisions, that doesn't mean you shouldn't do anything. When it comes to growing your 401k, a Roseville-based financial expert I talked with says now is still a time ripe with opportunities.
This recent market dip is an opportunity to anybody who has a retirement account that they're contributing to. Because remember, when the market goes down, stocks are on sale.
These past few months, we've experienced some market volatility, and experts say it's perfectly normal to feel anxious during this time of flux. But Elizabeth Daphner, founder of Diligence Wealth Management, says if you're not retiring soon and time is on your side, putting money into the market can reap some benefits.
When you're adding money every month from your paycheck into those retirement accounts, you are going to make even more money when the market recovers.
This all comes as the U.S. economy shrank in the first quarter of 2025 for the first time in 3 years amid the Trump administration's tariffs and a slowdown in consumer spending. But experts like Daphner say, stay positive.
Elizabeth, you're saying now is a great time to increase your 401k?
Absolutely. Definitely. 100%. Increase it and be consistent about it. And don't worry, the market eventually will come back.
401ks are built for the long haul. Emotional reactions in the short term can do serious long-term damage to your retirement plans.
If you can, increase that 401k, increase that simple IRA contribution. Some people just set it and forget it. Don't do that.
Daphner says there's no set formula for how much someone should contribute to their retirement plan. But she recommends if you can afford to contribute more to your retirement fund now, do it.
The longer that money can sit in the market is good for you.
But she says most people aren't saving enough for retirement, so she recommends save as much as you can, as consistently as you can. But Daphner recommends don't invest money you would need in the near future, like if you plan to use that money in 1 to 2 years. For example, if you're planning to buy a house. Instead, Daphner recommends putting that money into a high-yield savings account. And the conversation doesn't end here. I have more stories to help you navigate this changing economy. You can stream Dollars and Cents on our free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. Remember, your money questions have answers. Email me at lpainter@abc10.com.
New at 6, the Sacramento County DA's office has filed its first ever felony criminal charges against a company for wage theft.
The charges were investigated by the DA's new Workers Protection Unit.
ABC 10's Devin Truby has more on how investigators say your taxpayer dollars were misused.
A show of support from the NorCal Carpenters Union and Sacramento Sierra Building and Construction Trades on the construction site of the Sacramento International Airport. They say this public project is on the right track, but with some businesses shortchanging workers on wages, there's strong support for the Sacramento District Attorney's new Workers Protection Unit. Businesses the DA's office says like ProFrame.
ProFrame is a local contractor. They were the subcontractor for a affordable housing apartment complex on 39th and Broadway, which was a public works project with prevailing wages, was underpaying their employees by upwards of 50%.
ProFrame, a Rockland-based construction company, is now facing felony criminal charges.
This is a public works job. That means the taxpayer is being exploited as well.
District Attorney Tin Ho says it exploited its workers, many of them undocumented, and when they reported wage theft, the company fired them.
We start with looking at workers as workers. Without a doubt, there's a lot of fear in the workforce, particularly with the immigrant workforce, for all kinds of reasons that I don't have to point out today. Our approach is anything we can do, right, to protect those workers, we do.
Unions like NorCal Carpenters say they're grateful for the Workers Protection Unit.
Workers under attack, what do we do? Fight back!
But they're looking to the state for even more. They understand authorities don't have the capacity for all the investigations, so they'd like more third-party investigations to be allowed.
There's not enough investment in, frankly, for enforcement for our state attorney general, right? So we're looking for funds for that to be funded further for special investigators, particularly where laws are broken and where there's public money involved. So it's a combination. We are happy to invest our own resources.
That was our Devin Truby reporting. We reached out to ProFrame, the company facing the felony criminal charges, but we have not heard back.
We are hearing directly from California's insurance commissioner the day after he approved State Farm's emergency rate request for homeowners insurance. He spoke today at the California Insurance Crisis Conference, where panelists discussed availability and affordability. In the wake of the LA wildfires earlier this year, State Farm, which is California's largest home insurer, asked for approval of an emergency rate increase. After months of back and forth, the commissioner granted the request just yesterday, an average of about 17%. We asked him about that decision today.
The decision was a tough one. We either allow for this increase to ensure that we keep, State Farm customers covered, or else they lose their coverage and end up in the FAIR plan, further exacerbating the insurer of last resort.
Laura also announced the creation of a statewide task force focused on smoke claims damage. He says the state currently lacks consistent standards for covering that hazard.
The Menendez brothers are one step closer to the possibility of parole. Eric and Lyle Menendez have been serving life without parole for the murders of their parents in LA County. Yesterday, a judge resentenced them to 50 years to life. That immediately makes them candidates for parole. The brothers, now ages 54 and 57, have served 35 years for the killings back in 1989. The LA County District Attorney says he disagrees with the resentencing. He spoke out today.
If and when they do come fully clean, I believe that the parole board should very well consider them as eligible for parole.
The brothers are now scheduled to appear before a parole board in a month, but the process could take several months or even years. Governor Newsom could also intervene at any time and set them free immediately.
A beautiful day for that training exercise, if you will, but we are back on that spring roller coaster of temperatures, huh?
Oh, no complaints on those clear skies out there.
Yeah, we have a few clouds coming through right now, but that's all they are, just clouds, and we will see some more clearing. But back to the roller coaster, we're definitely on the up right now. We are climbing to the peak before we actually drop a little bit, headed back into the weekend. It's up and down we go right now, but like I said, right now we are firmly moving upwards. So far, I've made it to 82 in Sacramento today, 83 Stockton, 80 Modesto, 81 Vacaville, 80 in Fairfield, 79 Marysville, 66 in Placerville, 73 Jackson, 55 in Truckee, and 56 in South Lake Tahoe. Currently, we're in the 70s right now in Sacramento at 79, 77 in Vacaville, 78 Fairfield, 81 in Stockton, 81 Manteca, 79 Modesto and Tracy, 77 up in Colusa, 70 in Auburn, 54 in Truckee, 55 in South Lake Tahoe. Through the next few hours, those clouds will be with us, temperatures dropping into the low 70s by the time we get to 8 o'clock and mid 60s by 10 o'clock tonight. Should see some clearing skies as we go through the overnight. We'll call it mostly clear, starting off in the 50s tomorrow in Sacramento, about 53. 49 in Vacaville, though, 50 in Fairfield, 48 in Elk Grove, 49 Stockton, 53 down in Tracy, 49 Manteca, 51 in Modesto, 52 Colusa, 49 in Jackson, 50 in Auburn, 29 Truckee, and 29 in South Lake Tahoe. So the average low is 52. We're going to be very close to that to start our Thursday. As we go through the daytime on Thursday, temperatures are warming up and will be a little warmer than where we were today. Mid to upper 70s by lunchtime. I'm expecting some middle 80s across much of the valley tomorrow, with a few clouds coming through during the evening hours. The average high is 80. I've got us to about 85. That means we'll be about 5 degrees warmer than normal. in Sacramento. Very similar story down in Stockton and Modesto, although we could be looking at some upper 80s for places like Manteca. And then as you work your way up into the Sacramento Valley as well, 89 up in Colusa. But again, for all of us, a little bit warmer tomorrow by about 2 or 3 degrees. 79 in Jackson, 80 Angels Camp, 78 in Auburn, 60s in the high country, mid to upper 80s once again in the valley tomorrow. But the pattern is changing. This low pressure is moving out. That's why we are warming up. But by the time we get to the weekend, we've got a system just kind of brushing Northern California. If this was in the wintertime, we might call this perhaps an inside slider. It does look to drop into the Great Basin, but what that's going to do is it's going to bring us some wind by the time we get to Sunday and Monday. So there's no alert at the moment, but we are watching Sunday and Monday for some elevated fire danger. A gust 25 to 35 miles per hour in the valley. West side of the valley could see higher gusts. Humidity will also be 10 to 20%, and that means some grass fire potential. So it's important to be fire ready, make sure that go bag is packed, and you have a way to receive alerts. Through this week, Delta breezes basically each afternoon, kind of stronger than the day before. By the time we get to Saturday, generally some pretty strong onshore winds, but then that wind flips to become a northerly wind by the time we get to Sunday morning, and then look at those widespread gusts out of the north as we go through the daytime Sunday. A similar story for Monday as well. You'll also notice relative humidity values dropping by the time we get to Sunday. That continues Monday. Again, only 10 to 20%. So that's what we're watching kind of on the long term. In the short term, though, temperatures do climb all the way through Friday, brief dip through the weekend, and next week looks like a lot of 90s.
So enjoy those cool temperatures while we can this weekend.
That's right.
Saying.
Yep.
Yeah, good time to prepare as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, Brendan, thank you. The Michelin Guide today announced 13 additions to the California selection of restaurants, and 3 of the culinary gems are in Sacramento. Italian restaurant Majka is described as a charming neighborhood spot known for its ingredient-driven pizzas. Thai restaurant Kin Thai also made the list for their Thai street food and regional specialties. Rounding out the list is Pho Mama, the Vietnamese restaurant on Folsom Boulevard, recognized for their high-quality ingredients. The 3 restaurants immediately join the selection as recommended. Congratulations to them. We're all officially hungry now. Thank you so much for watching this ABC 10 Plus recap. We're here 24/7 on the free ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. You can get your local news and weather anytime, anywhere. I'm Laura Painter. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching ABC 10 Plus. And now that you're here, why don't we take a look around and see what else is here? The very first tile on your left is always going to be streaming 24/7. You can find us adjacent to that, breaking news if it's there. And then right next to that, a replay of the most recent newscast. Whether it's ABC 10 Morning News at 5, 6, or beyond, it's going to be there. The forecast beyond that, and then right beyond that, the news that matters the most. Now that you know the basic tiles, let's go up to the top and take a deeper dive into news. We have every single newscast that you would need, including To the Point with Alex Bell, taking a deeper dive into the issues. Beyond that, ABC 10 Morning News at 5 and 6 and 11, the evening shows as well. Below that, you can watch the top stories from To the Point. Under that, Dollars and Cents, where you can learn how to navigate this challenging economy. And below that, you can watch our award-winning ABC 10 Special Investigations, where we hold the powerful accountable. Going into weather, look, it's the 10-day forecast, getting you ready for the weekend and beyond. Beyond that, sports. I know you care about the Sacramento Kings. We have the most comprehensive guide to anything, everything Kings in the locker room and on the court. We have it. Below that, I know you care about the San Francisco 49ers. Backing out again, come up to the top and join me on Verify. I'm super excited about this. Our experts are checking the facts, verifying the truth for you. Jump up now to shows. Very excited about this. Oh, look. It's Take a Look. This is my show. I love movies, and if you love movies or streaming shows, whether it's on screens this big, or this big, it's Take a Look. Recently went behind the scenes, sat down with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix to talk about Joker 2. I love the movie, and oh, I just heard you shout you hate the movie. Jump in, we talk about it on this show. Other shows, Bartell's Backroads, go up and down the state of California, tank of gas getaways, one fuel cell getaway, like places like the Toy Museum. This is what kids did before they had screens. Over here, the Moaning Caverns of Calaveras County, one of the most coveted caves in all of California. You know, watching this show, I discovered there's a cave that could fit the entire Statue of Liberty in your own backyard. You'll find about that and more with Bartell's Backroads. Down below that, To the Point. It is one of my favorite newscasts because they talk about news with Alex Bell, the way you talk about news. It's conversational, but in-depth at the same time. Below that, your California life. Love this show. Whether it's entertainment, food, beverage, lifestyle, it's there. Desiree Shepherd hosts and does an amazing job. So there you have it. It's ABC10 Plus, the app. What do you need? We heard you and we got it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for streaming.
We are in day one of a weather impact alert. This is for rain, for snow, and for wind.
Be flood ready and expect major mountain impacts.
It's that snow-rain mix that drivers have been dealing with here.
We're already seeing the impact of the storm.
We're planning for those changes.
Be prepared for treacherous road conditions.
Stay fire ready.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on ABC10 Plus.
Our free ABC10 Plus TV streaming app has so much to offer. Get your news live and on demand 24/7, so you can watch the news when you want. There's breaking news, extended forecast, and so much more. We have everything you need to get through your day and ready for the weekend. We've got you covered on money-saving tips, travel, entertainment, and sports. Download the free ABC10 Plus app on your smart TV and popular streaming devices like Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and more. ABC10. We stand for you 24/7.